over 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, leaving countless mysteries hidden in its depths. What secrets lie beneath the surface? Thanks to advancements in diving and underwater cameras, we can now uncover the unseen. From sunken sculptures to the elusive red devil squid, here are 15 incredible deep-sea discoveries. Number 15. Grandmother divers. Sea women is the English nickname for these grandmothers who dive for a living in South Korea and are still better than most young people. The Korean name for this is haenyeo, and it dates back to the year 434. It started as a mainly male profession, but by the 18th century, female divers outnumbered male divers. They're also considered to be the first working mothers in the country, breaking social norms to be the providers for their families. On Jeju Island, this community of women, some aged in their 80s, go diving 10 meters under the sea to gather shellfish such as abalone or sea urchins for a living, without the use of oxygen masks, relying only on classic dive masks. Diving became essential to survival in the 17th century, a time when men were passing away in deep-sea fishing accidents or war. Unfortunately, the tradition is starting to fade because many of their daughters have decided to make a living in the city instead of following their mother's path. There is, however, a dedicated school to teach younger generations how to master this art. But many of the divers have come to terms with the idea that this method might not survive another generation. They also don't want to force the tradition on anyone else, as the younger generations will have more career options if they get an education. In the 1960s, there were around 26,000 female divers on this island. By 2016, this number dropped to about 4,500. It seems not many young people want to grab a fishing spear and a net and dive into the ocean to catch sea life. It's definitely harder than using big fishing nets and would take much patience to master. Training for this starts around age 11, beginning in shallow water. Trainees work their way up to more challenging depths. After 7 years of training, a girl is considered a full-fledged haenyeo. These women might be the closest thing to a mermaid, well, at least their swimming skills are like one. Number 14. Red devil squid strikes. When diving, the worst-case scenario would probably be your mask coming off, causing you to drown. This almost happened to a camera person filming red devil squids deep down in the ocean. A researcher studying squids wanted to get close-up shots of these amazing creatures. To do so, they used underwater cameras with red lights, as these squids don't react to this color of light as much as the default white light. While filming, an onslaught of these squids went after the camera and eventually started attacking the diver. One even attached to his mask, almost ripping it off his head, which would have been a disaster if anything broke. These creatures have 10 tentacles and 2 longer arms used for feeding. Each arm contains about 100 to over 200 barb-like hooked suckers. These powerful suckers help them grab, grip, and tear apart their prey, so they can harm you if you're not careful. They can even change to 28 different colors as part of their communication pattern. Despite this, these squids haven't been fully studied, since they're only found at depths of 200 meters to 700 meters, meaning they're not meant to be seen often. That's for sure. Number 13. Submarine crossing. Pretty much seeing any massive shadow underneath you in the depths of the ocean would freak you out, but the odds of that thing being a submarine are next to none. Well, this diver is one of the very few people to experience such an event. While exploring the ocean, in this video, you start to see the shape of a big white object coming into frame. The outline of a submarine starts to come into sight. The approaching vessel appears to be around 30 feet long, with a standing platform and handrails across the top deck. It travels slowly past the camera person, then disappears into the blue depths like it was never there. The scary clip has been seen by thousands since it was posted, with viewers believing they know more about the odd submarine. Many people commented that its wooden decking, white paint, and handrails suggest it's probably a civilian submarine, not a military one, since those have black plating, unless fancy subs are just painted black. Only a few countries paint their subs anything but black. Some thought it looked like the Waikiki Atlantis, a tourist submarine that takes visitors to Hawaii's Oahu Island on a trip through the ocean. Maybe some of the tourists saw the divers through the windows. That would be one confusing sight. Highly doubtful, but possible though. Number 12. Creepy horror statue. This lake has a secret that lurks at the bottom. If you've ever seen one of the many Friday the 13th films, this statue would scare you, that's for sure. But then, that fear would turn into amazement. An artist decided to make a replica of Jason Voorhees, who, if you don't know, is a villain from the famous horror film Friday the 13th, where a killer with an old hockey mask stalks camp counselors and, of course, kills them. Imagine diving and swimming up to this in dark waters. This underwater statue was located in Crosby, Minnesota, and most divers would find out about it because of its popularity. So most divers won't have to worry about freaking out. Let's just hope the divers who do run into this freaky horror creature 120 feet below don't have a heart attack. That makes you wonder, has anyone swum into this without knowing it's there? Seems very unlikely unless it comes alive and can move. We doubt that will ever happen. What's your favorite horror monster? Let us know in the comments. Number 11. Clean money, dirty work. This next video will surprise you because you'd think a machine could do this next task. Not many people can handle this job. The one good thing is you don't have to go into this dank sewage sludge without a super protective diving suit. At least there's no current, no dangerous wreckage in the area, and reasonable temperatures. These dives are done at wastewater treatment plants, so there are very disgusting things in this small, sludgy hole. These huge digestion towers are up to 40 meters high, and the dives can last up to 3 hours, so you might smell a little afterward. The suit is water and gas-tight, special diving gear with a special helmet that makes it so you can't see anything, so they're blind down there as well. The hole in the video is mostly corn and soybean waste inside the digester. This tiny space will make you claustrophobic, so this might be a worse nightmare with a putrid smell on top of that. The closed suit is supplied with air by the service team on the surface outside the digester via a hose package with 4 lines. Breathing air is blown into the suit, which also flows into the helmet so that the diver can breathe without a regulator. There's a service team and they can talk to the divers with a telephone that's inside, so at least you can talk to someone down there. Now it's time for today's topic. In a discovery that has left the internet buzzing, a group of treasure-hunting divers searching for rumored gold deposits off the coast of the Philippines stumbled upon something far more bizarre. While exploring a deep underwater trench, their cameras captured footage of what appears to be 2 humanoid creatures lurking in the depths. The creatures, eerily resembling the xenomorphs from the Alien movies, have sparked heated debates online. The divers, who were using advanced underwater drones to map the area, initially thought they had stumbled upon statues or remnants of an old shipwreck. However, as the footage shows, the figures appear to move subtly, as if alive. Their elongated heads, spiny appendages, and skeletal-like bodies seem too detailed to be a prank, yet too fantastical to be real. Experts are divided on the footage. Some suggest it could be an elaborate hoax, possibly statues placed by pranksters to fool explorers. Others argue it might be a case of pareidolia, our brains interpreting shapes as something familiar. But the divers insist the footage is authentic, leaving many to wonder. Could these creatures be real? Or is this just another deep-sea mystery? Either way, the discovery has reignited curiosity about what truly lies beneath the ocean's surface. Number 10. Lord of the Underwater Rings. If you were swimming and saw these rings in the water, you might think they could be some type of weird jellyfish. But there's something called bubble rings. What is a bubble ring? Are they a bad omen? Or is there an easy explanation for this odd bubble circle? Sadly, it's neither of those because the physics behind these rings are still under active study. These are officially called vortex rings, where an air bubble occupies the core of the vortex, forming a ring shape. Divers can even create bubble rings by blowing air out of their mouth in a particular manner. Devices have also been made that can create these to study them better. Animals can also create these. Beluga whales, dolphins, and humpback whales all blow bubble rings. Dolphins sometimes make bubble rings on purpose for amusement. They will check their creation visually and with their sonar. They even sometimes play with the bubbles, distorting the bubble rings, breaking smaller bubble rings off the original, or splitting the original ring into 2 separate rings using their beak. They also enjoy biting the vortex rings they've made so that they burst into many smaller normal bubbles and then rise to the surface. Dolphins can become so bored. This must be one of the smartest ways of having fun. This has just turned into a rant about how smart dolphins are. Anyways, let's end on the mystery of these vortex rings and how the physics of them are not figured out yet. Could this lead to some new information that could help the world somehow? Maybe we'll find out soon. Number 9. Deep sea gravity. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to float through space? Well, in this short film Ocean Gravity, it looks like a person is doing exactly that, but it's in the ocean. So, you can experience this floating feeling without going to space. This all takes place in the Te Puedo Pass, a well-known diving spot, and shows a diver who floats through the depths without any ocean life in sight, which makes it seem like empty space. The eerie silence of the underwater world adds to the illusion, making it feel like the diver is truly drifting in a void. The water's clarity and the absence of marine life create a stark, otherworldly backdrop that amplifies the sense of isolation. The diver's slow, deliberate movements mimic the graceful motions of astronauts, making it hard to believe he's not in zero gravity. The current itself is incredibly powerful, and it takes a deep understanding of the ocean's behavior to use it effectively without being swept away. The film captures the raw beauty and danger of the ocean, reminding viewers of how small and fragile humans are in comparison to nature's immense forces. The lighting in the video, with beams of sunlight piercing through the water, adds a surreal glow to the scene, making it feel like a dream. It's a mesmerizing display of how the ocean can mimic the vastness of space, offering a unique perspective on both environments. Watching the diver move effortlessly through the current is both calming and awe-inspiring, a reminder of the ocean's mysterious allure. He appears weightless because he takes advantage of the strength and pull of the lagoon's deep current, which results in the same type of look as an astronaut on the moon. The speeds he reaches in this video seem almost impossible without the help of equipment or flippers, but the technique he uses, combined with the current, helps him navigate the depths majestically. If you're afraid of the ocean, you could just go into space to get the same feeling, but that might be a harder goal to accomplish. Would you rather go to space or dive into the bottom of the ocean? Let us know in the comments. Number 8. Touching two continents. The area called Silfra in Iceland was formed by the divergent tectonic drift of the Eurasian and North American plates, which have caused cracks and fissures to form a valley. This place has become a scuba diving sensation because of its clear water and location within the continental rift. This gorgeous diving spot is one of the most famous and most sought-after tourist activities in Iceland for divers. The Silfra Fissure is the only place in the world where you can dive between two continents, so it's an experience you wouldn't forget if you can handle it. The feeling of being suspended between two massive tectonic plates is surreal, almost as if you're floating in a space where the Earth itself is alive. Divers often describe the experience as otherworldly, with the vibrant shades of blue and green creating a dreamlike atmosphere. The water is so clear that it feels like you're gliding through air, and the sunlight filtering through the surface adds a magical glow to the underwater landscape. Some sections of the fissure are narrow, making it feel like you're squeezing through the Earth's cracks, while others open up into vast, cathedral-like spaces. The silence underwater is profound, broken only by the sound of your own breathing, which adds to the meditative quality of the dive. Many divers say that touching the walls of the fissure, knowing they belong to two separate continents, is a humbling and awe-inspiring moment. The unique geology of the area also means that the rocks you see have been shaped over millions of years, adding a sense of timelessness to the experience. It's not just a dive, it's a journey through the history of the planet itself. The rock formations are incredible, and in the deep Silfra crack, you can have your photograph taken between the continents. The water at the Silfra Fissure is completely pure and clear. Its amazing visibility can extend to over 100 meters. Silfra's water is essentially the meltwater from a giant glacier that's about 60 kilometers north of it. The year-round low water temperatures are between 2 to 4 degrees Celsius. These temperatures remain constant because the natural spring travels underground and does not freeze at its source. People say that snorkeling here is like flying. When in the water, you look at your surroundings completely differently because of the visibility. You essentially are swimming in the opening of the Earth. If you do want to learn to dive, it's considered an average difficulty. Beginners can try as well if they feel comfortable enough in the water and know how to swim. Number 7. Underwater vortex. Hopefully, you have diving experience if you ever find yourself in an underwater vortex. Good thing this scenario won't happen unless you're a diver. Anyways, the ocean can be a very dangerous place because even the water can attack you, so you should be a decent swimmer if you want to explore the depths of the ocean. One thing you can get caught in is a vortex, and this would not be fun. A group of divers was caught in a vortex current, an underwater current that runs parallel to the surface of the water. These don't appear often, and not much is known about them since only a few dive sites have them around the entire world. The divers described the experience as both terrifying and mesmerizing, as the swirling water created a strange, almost hypnotic effect. One of them mentioned how the vortex seemed to pull them in with an invisible force, making it feel like they were trapped in a giant washing machine. The sound of the rushing water was deafening, and visibility dropped to almost zero, adding to the panic. Another diver recalled how the pressure changes made it difficult to equalize, causing discomfort in their ears. Despite their training, the sheer power of the vortex was overwhelming, and it took every ounce of strength to stay focused. They had to rely on hand signals to communicate, as speaking was impossible in the chaos. One diver even lost a fin in the struggle, making it even harder to swim out. The team later said that their survival depended on their ability to trust each other and stick to their training. The only advice to escape these is to remain calm and attempt to swim out of it perpendicularly. But how many people could remain calm while being in one of these? Seems like that would be hard too. These were professional divers and had help as well in case they couldn't get out. But all of them made it out okay and moved on without the rest of the diving. The whirlpools on average last up to 198 days, which means you have to swim out because they won't be going away anytime soon. But the chance of swimming into one of these is very unlikely, so don't be too afraid of them. Number 6. Sunken sculptures. Not many people have heard of underwater museums. This place is exactly that, and it would be perfect to visit if you love diving in sculptures. Located 200 meters off the coast of Ayia Napa on the eastern part of Cyprus, it's like a forest full of trees, children at play, and other mythical characters. The sculptures are designed to mimic natural elements, such as tree branches and coral reefs, creating a seamless blend between art and nature. Over time, marine life like fish, crustaceans, and algae begin to inhabit the sculptures, transforming them into thriving underwater ecosystems. Divers have reported seeing schools of fish weaving through the sculptures, adding a dynamic and living element to the artwork. The placement of the sculptures was carefully planned to ensure they wouldn't disrupt existing marine habitats. The museum also serves as a way to divert tourists from more fragile coral reefs, reducing human impact on those delicate ecosystems. The clarity of the water in this area makes it an ideal spot for underwater photography, with the sunlight filtering through and casting dramatic shadows on the sculptures. It's not just a visual experience but also an educational one, as the project aims to raise awareness about ocean conservation and the importance of protecting marine environments. To see all of this, you, of course, have to go underwater by diving or using a snorkel from above, so it takes some effort to explore, but it would be totally worth it. This project strives to build a habitat for life in the ocean while examining the impact of man on the natural world. It was created by British sculptor Jason de Taylor, who has done many underwater exhibits. Every sculpture is made from materials that have no negative impact on the surrounding environment, and the structures will act as a new home for life as they become covered in biomass over time, which means this place will change with time and age for the better. So maybe waiting a while to see it might be a better idea. Number 5. Mall sharks. Most of you have probably heard of mall rats, people who spend most of their time going to shopping malls. But have you heard of the mall sharks? Well, this is literally sharks in malls. Doesn't seem real, right? This massive mall in Dubai has an aquarium inside with sharks. This aquarium is one of the largest suspended aquariums in the world and has more than 33,000 marine animals. The tank itself is a marvel of engineering, with its thick acrylic walls designed to withstand the immense pressure of 10 million liters of water. Visitors can walk through a 48-meter-long tunnel that runs through the aquarium, offering a 360-degree view of the marine life. The experience is immersive, making you feel as though you're walking on the ocean floor. For those who are more adventurous, the aquarium offers cage snorkeling and shark dives, allowing you to get up close and personal with these incredible creatures. The sand tiger sharks, with their jagged teeth and menacing appearance, are surprisingly docile and pose no real threat to humans. The aquarium also plays a role in conservation, housing several endangered species and educating visitors about marine ecosystems. It's not just a tourist attraction but also a center for marine research and breeding programs. The crazy part about this massive tank is that you can even dive into the depths of the 10 million liter tank and come face to face with the largest collection of sand tiger sharks in the world. The mall states the sharks are waiting for you and that it's perfectly safe. This seems very hard to believe, but you have staff with you at all times. These sharks are used to people by now and have tons to eat. Also, sharks are not even that dangerous to humans. Unfortunately, so much media portrays sharks as all attack-on-sight creatures. If you want to see something else besides sharks, you could check out King Croc, which weighs an incredible 750 kilograms and measures over 5 meters long. It would be terrible to be in this mall if that thing ever escaped. Number 4. Terrifying warning sign. Diving in these maze-like caves is as risky as the sign to the entrance warns. Going into this water maze could result in drowning, even if you're an experienced diver. Ginnie Springs in Florida is known for its beautiful and vast cave systems, and many of them are underwater. The intricate network of tunnels can stretch for miles, with some passages so narrow that divers have to remove their tanks to squeeze through. Visibility can quickly drop to zero if silt is stirred up, making it nearly impossible to find your way back. Many of these caves have strong currents that can push divers deeper into the system, increasing the risk of getting lost. Even experienced divers rely on guidelines to navigate, as the labyrinth-like structure can disorient anyone. The water temperature in these caves is a constant 22 degrees Celsius, which might seem comfortable at first but can lead to hypothermia during long dives. Divers also have to be mindful of their air supply, as miscalculating how much is needed to exit the cave can be fatal. The caves are home to unique ecosystems, including blind cavefish and other creatures adapted to the dark, adding an eerie yet fascinating element to the experience. Devil's Eye is a cave with a round opening 20 feet across, and once you go down 50 feet, you find the signs that read, "Stop, prevent your death." There's nothing in this cave worth dying for. A Grim Reaper is on the sign so that this would most likely make some people turn away. The thought of being lost in an underwater cave all alone in a dark maze with air slowly running out would be enough to stop almost anyone. Number 3. Icy depths. Being trapped under the ice is a nightmare that could be a reality for the people that attempt ice diving. Imagine cutting a 3-foot hole into the ice that reveals black water below, then dropping into shocking 1 degree Celsius water and getting a numb face almost instantly. Yeah, that doesn't seem enjoyable at all. But if you end up doing this, you'll be mesmerized by the light and texture of the under-ice environment. The ice above creates a surreal, glowing ceiling that filters sunlight into shimmering patterns, making the experience feel almost otherworldly. Divers often describe the silence under the ice as eerie yet peaceful, with only the sound of their breathing breaking the stillness. Specialized equipment, such as dry suits and thermal undergarments, is essential to prevent the body from losing heat too quickly. Safety lines are also a must, as they ensure divers can find their way back to the entry hole in case of disorientation. Some ice divers even use underwater scooters to navigate the frozen depths more efficiently. The wildlife under the ice is equally fascinating, with creatures like jellyfish, krill, and even fish adapted to the extreme cold. The unique conditions also allow for the formation of intricate ice structures, such as frozen air bubbles and ice stalactites, which are rarely seen in other environments. For those brave enough to try it, ice diving offers a glimpse into a hidden, frozen world that few will ever experience. It would be an experience you could brag about to many people. The chance to see penguins and leopard seals and 15 species of whales, along with many more sea creatures, makes this a world that not many people get to see. The most obvious dangers of ice diving are getting lost under the ice, hypothermia, and regulator failure due to freezing. Even the people on the surface have hazards to watch out for, including freezing temperatures and falling through thin ice. This type of activity requires many years in practice, so it's not for everyone, especially if you hate the cold. Number 2. Nemo's Garden. Growing things underwater sounds like a lot of effort and impossible, but this project called Nemo's Garden is something that seems ahead of its time. This project began in 2012 and currently consists of 7 pods and biospheres, each of which can hold around 22 plant pots, and of course is underwater. 100 meters off the coast of Nali in Italy lies a cluster of balloon-like pods pegged to the seabed by ropes 6 meters long. Inside, a range of food is being grown including red cabbage, lettuce, beans, basil, and strawberries. The unique underwater environment provides a stable temperature, high humidity, and natural protection from pests, making it an ideal setting for certain crops. The biospheres are designed to be airtight, creating a controlled environment that allows plants to thrive even in the salty ocean surroundings. Divers regularly check on the plants, ensuring they are growing properly and monitoring the conditions inside the pods. The underwater location also reduces the need for pesticides, as the sealed environment keeps harmful insects and diseases at bay. The project has also attracted attention from scientists and environmentalists, who see it as a potential solution for food production in areas with limited arable land. The team behind Nemo's Garden is also experimenting with different plant species to see which ones adapt best to the underwater conditions. The pods themselves are visually stunning, resembling futuristic greenhouses floating beneath the waves. This innovative approach to farming could inspire similar projects in other parts of the world, especially in regions facing climate change challenges. It's also an eco-friendly and self-sustainable project. The use of renewable energy from the sun and fresh water obtained by desalinating seawater makes this a self-sustainable system. There have been some doubts regarding this way of farming because the main concern would be whether a setup like this would disrupt the local food infrastructure. Coastal communities often rely on fish not just as food but as a source of income, so this might not be used unless we're in some kind of apocalypse. Number 1. Mysterious mucus. If you were close to a large mass of clear goo in the ocean, would you touch it? Yeah, we doubt you said yes because for all we know it could melt our skin or shock us. Luckily, this 13-foot blob is harmless, but it's something you might not expect. These underwater masses are millions of squid eggs together that float around for a few days. Since they only appear like this for a couple of days and are very deep underwater, they're rarely seen. Some divers who have encountered these blobs describe them as otherworldly, almost like something out of a science fiction movie. The translucent nature of the mass makes it appear as though it's glowing in the dim light of the ocean depths. When light hits the blob, it refracts in mesmerizing patterns, creating a surreal visual effect. The texture of the mass is said to be gelatinous and slightly sticky, which helps it stay intact in the strong underwater currents. Marine biologists believe that the squid lay these eggs in such large clusters to increase the chances of survival for their offspring. Predators may find it difficult to penetrate the jelly-like substance, giving the eggs a better chance to hatch. Additionally, the mass may act as a decoy, distracting predators from individual eggs. The sheer size of these blobs has led some to speculate that they could belong to giant squid species, but this remains unconfirmed. The mystery surrounding these egg masses has sparked curiosity among scientists and divers alike. The eggs go down to a depth of about 150 meters and hatch soon after. Unfortunately, squid eggs can't tell us what kind of squid produced these eggs. Who knows, maybe it's a new species. After a few days, the squid babies hatch and the masses disintegrate, so very few people have seen this in person. Scientists aren't sure how the masses get this big, but they think the huge size allows the eggs to spread out and get more oxygen, while the jelly-like substance helps protect the eggs from infection, bacteria, and predators. No one has ever seen a red flying squid lay eggs, so if it ever is observed, maybe the mystery of these eggs will be solved once and for all. The ocean holds countless mesmerizing stories, and we continue to uncover new wonders every day. What fascinating discoveries might the future hold? Which part of this list did you find the most intriguing? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. You can also hit subscribe for more amazing Thought Trail content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.